Let's be honest. If you're like most entrepreneurs, you've probably been told that the more you pitch, the more you close, right? So then the goal then becomes more DMs, more leads, more sales scripts, more sales pages. Let me see if I missed one. More calls, right? And yet your business still feels like an absolute grind. So then you start to wonder, what am I doing wrong? Why aren't people buying? Do I need better funnels, better hooks, better offers? But what if the issue is not your content? And what if it's not even your offer? And what if it's not even your marketing skills? What if the real reason that you are not seeing traction is because your audience does not believe yet? Let me explain. Let's hop on the computer.
All right. I'm on the computer. Let's talk about it. Today we're about to talk about the demand secret. Like, what is the secret to creating demand for your product or service? And then we're going to talk about why belief shifting attracts clients without selling. Okay. So I hope you're ready for this. Where I want to start today is let's talk about why selling falls flat. And to do that, we must discuss what most people miss. And here it is, right here. Most people don't realize that selling focuses on the transaction, okay? But belief shifting focuses on the transformation. And people don't move or take action because of a transaction. They move or take action because they see themselves in a new possibility, okay? Let me give you an example to make this a little bit more clear. Imagine that you are a nutritionist. And let's say you post your packages, you offer free consultations, you talk about macros, about plans, about coaching calls, but guess what? Your audience still doesn't buy, and you're probably like wondering why, right? It is because they don't believe yet. And that is the case for many of us who are entrepreneurs who we're sitting there putting things out there and people aren't buying. It's because they don't believe yet. They don't believe change is possible. They don't believe that it will work for them. They don't believe they need it urgently. You see, so even if your offer is super duper amazing, it falls flat on its face because the belief is not there at all. The belief that that person needs in order to get them to take action, it is not there. Here's what I want you to write down. If someone does not believe they need what you do, it doesn't matter how good your pitch is, they are not buying. Okay. If someone does not believe they need what you do, it doesn't matter how good your pitch is, they are not buying. So let's go ahead and talk about the psychology of demand because it's important. We need to build demand for our product or services, right? So let's talk about that. Now, with you turning your business into a movement, because that's the goal, that's how you start to attract people to you. You've got to know that movements don't sell people. That's not what we do. Movements don't sell. Movements create demand through belief. Okay? Here's how it works. Instead of saying something like buy this, you say here's why you're stuck. Or you say, here's what's keeping you from your goals. Or you say, here's what you've been taught that is keeping you small. Now watch this. Suddenly, people feel seen. They feel exposed in a good way, and they feel like you get them. Okay. And what you got to know is that once someone believes differently, they move differently. That means they start moving towards you, right? You see, when you say things like, here's why you're stuck, here's what's keeping you from your goals, yeah, you're helping them to feel understood, but now they get curious and it builds demand because they're like, I need to know more. What do you know about me? Why am I stuck? What's wrong about what I've been taught, right? Let me tell you about Jordan real quick. Jordan, she's a parenting coach who used to try and sell her coaching packages directly. It was an 8-week program to transform your parenting. It included supportive strategies for hard moments, things for improving your communication with your kids. And guess what? Even though she put all that stuff out there, you know what she got? Crickets. Until she said something very simple on one of her live streams. She said, most parents don't have a discipline problem, they have a connection problem. That's all she said. Just those two sentences, and boom, it hit. Parents started to message her saying things like, that is it. That's exactly what's happening in my home. They started to realize, you know what, you're right. Me and my child really don't have this connection that I thought we had. And this whole time I've been thinking is about disciplining and that I wasn't disciplining them well, but we don't have a good connection. Like literally, suddenly people are messaging her. They didn't care about her package. They cared about the belief that she just unlocked in them. The realization, the aha moment. You see, now she didn't have to push her offer. All she did was share a message, and people started asking to work with her. Right? She unlocked this truth in them. They're like, "Yo, can you tell me more? Like, you're so right about this, but now what? It's a connection problem, but what's next? You know? You see, Jordan stopped pitching parenting tips and she started shifting parenting beliefs. And clients came to her already sold, already bought in. And that's how she started to build her movement. Okay. So let me tell you, here's what belief shifting gives you that selling can never give you. Okay. Number one, pre sold leads. Okay, that's what belief shifting does. It gets you people who are already pre-sold. Aligned clients means they're aligned with your beliefs, your values, right? It makes sense. We're belief shifting. So the people who see you and come to you, they're already aligned with you in your thinking. Number three, a business that scales through messaging and not manipulation. Okay, that's what belief shifting gives you that selling can never. Okay, because when your content does the heavy lifting, you don't need to constantly prove yourself. You just show up with clarity and the right people move towards you. It's that easy and simple. It's not about selling better. People will be like, yeah, this is just a better way to sell. No, we're not persuading people. We're not convincing people at all. We're shifting their beliefs. Okay. It's about building belief faster. Okay. Let me tell you how you can go from persuading to positioning. Okay. Because we're not here to persuade, convince people, or to sell. You need to position yourself better. And to do that, you must understand what selling is about. Selling says, let me convince you. Belief shifting says, let me show you the truth. Do you see the difference? Selling puts you on a stage trying to win approval. Belief shifting puts you in a position as a trusted leader with a clear message. That's why we as movers, we don't sell. And listen, real quick, if this is your first time hearing that word movers, here's what I mean by that. A mover is somebody who moves people into new ideas, new perspectives, and new beliefs. Okay. A mover is someone who builds their business around belief. They don't pitch products. They rally people around ideas that change lives. Okay. They lead movements that attract aligned clients without ever chasing them. So you might be a mover already, even if you didn't have the language for it until now. So, as movers, you know what we do? We build belief. We make people feel seen. We challenge what is broken and invite them into something better. And that's what creates demand without pressure and without force. And that's how a movement of people is built. Okay. I want you to do this for a second. I want you to think about the last time you actually bought something that was really, really big, right? Whether it was a coaching program, a course, or a life changing book, okay? You probably didn't buy it because of the list of features, right? You probably bought it because something about it clicked with you, whether it was a sentence, a perspective, or a belief shift that made you go, yeah, that's it. That's what I've been missing. That's the missing piece to my puzzle, okay? That's the moment. That moment right there, that's what created the demand. Okay. Not a sales script, but rather a belief shift. Okay. Here's what I want you to write down because we see in the online world all the time. Everyone's talking about funnel this, make a funnel, create a funnel, funnel that. Okay. But write this down. Funnels don't build trust. Messages do. Okay. Funnels don't build trust. Messages do. If your content only works when you pressure people to act fast, that's not demand. That is desperation. Okay. But when your message creates clarity, that's magnetic. Here's what I want you to remember. Here's the big truth. Selling focuses on convincing. Belief shifting focuses on clarity. And clarity is what creates magnetic demand. It's what draws people in. When people believe what you believe, they don't need more time. They don't need more convincing. They don't even need more bonuses. They're already in your circle. They just say, look, this is what I've been looking for. We're aligned, right? We hold the same beliefs. See, that's the power of a belief-based business. Okay. I want to talk to you about crafting a belief shifting message because that's your homework assignment for you to really understand this and get this down. So I want you to think about your ideal client. What is the belief that is keeping them stuck right now, this second? Think about it. You may have to brainstorm a little bit. Okay. What's the thing that they've been taught that you know is holding them back? Okay. And then once you think about that and you come to whatever it is, I want you to write a one-liner that shifts it. It could be a 1 or 2-liner. Let me give you an example. If you're a therapist, you could say something like, you don't need to fix your anxiety. You need to understand what it's been trying to tell you. Okay. Do you see that? That's a belief shifting message. Because as I told you, I want you to write down the thing that your people have been taught that you know is holding them back. For a therapist, many people think they need to fix their anxiety and that's holding them back. But this therapist is saying you don't need to fix your anxiety. You need to understand what it's been trying to tell you. Let's talk about an example as a fitness coach, right? Fitness coach could say, discipline doesn't create results, self-respect does. Perhaps for this coach in their industry, people think it's all about discipline, being strong-minded, and pushing yourself through, right, to get results. And he's saying, no, that's not about that. You've been taught that, but that's holding you back. That's why you can't get results, right? Discipline doesn't create results. Self-respect does. You see that? That's a belief shift. That's a completely different way of looking at something. He's moving people as a mover into a different perspective, into a different ideology, into a different belief. Okay? This is how you become known for something powerful. This is how you create demand without chasing. Because now people are like, okay, I agree with that. That sounds good. And then like, but tell me more. Right? This is how you rally people around an idea. Okay? So as you see on my screen, number one, ask yourself what belief is keeping them stuck, your audience that is. Number two, write a one-liner or a two-liner, okay? And number three, shift the belief. Okay, and I've just given you some examples of how to do that. So now that you know how belief shifting creates demand, in the next video, I'm going to show you the identity shift that you must take if you want to become a true movement leader. Because you're not just a content creator and you're not just a business owner, nor are you just someone out here building offers. You are leading something so much bigger. And once you step into that identity, everything changes for you in your business. Let's go there next.